Akram, shall we start? No problem.
Yes, sir. We can.
Okay. So, students, good morning to all of you. So, I'm here to introduce one of our speaker, okay, who is having his all the professional qualifications in pharmacy, okay, for that too in pharmacy practice. And the person who is none other than Dr. Akram Ahmad, okay. So, let me read his biography and you will come to know how much he is self-made, okay. So Dr. Akram Ahmad, basically he obtained his PhD degree from the Faculty of Medicine and Health, University of Sydney, okay, Australia. And currently he is working as a burns manager, research manager at the Children's Hospital at West Med, Sydney. And previously he was in the teaching only. He was basically Pharmacy Academy, and he has taught pharmacy practice and clinical pharmacy at UCSI University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And when it comes to the research interests of Dr. Akram Ahmad, basically it includes the areas related to medicine use optimization, then patient preference and adherence, then drug safety, pharmaceutical education, pharmaceutical policy, encompassing about access and medicines, quality use of medicines in community, and health economics. Dr. Akram has, active research collaborations and linkages over, 10 countries, including the world's leading universities such as the University of Sydney, Australia, Boston University, USA, then University of Huddersfield, UK, then University of Virginia, USA, Marshall University, then the University of Queensland, Australia, and in Canada, University of Alberta. And many universities in Malaysia, India, Nepal, Ethiopia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan. Then Dr. Akram has published over 110 papers, book chapters, conference papers, including in high impact factor journals such as Lancet, the Lancet Infectious Diseases, Lancet Global Health, PLoS ONE, BMC Public Health, Journal of Religion and Health, Public Health, then Disaster Medicine and Public Health Preparedness, and Indian Journal of Pharmacology. Then Dr. Akram is also the recipient of prestigious Promising Researcher Award from the UCSI University Kuala Lumpur in 2016 with a prize money of Malaysian currency 10,000 ringgit. Then Dr. Akram is also recipient of International Postgraduate Research Scholarship and Associated Australian Postgraduate Award in March 2017, and University of Sydney International Scholarship in June 2017 from the Government of Australia and the University of Sydney to support students of exceptional research and the potential with their studies. He is recipient of the Fast Track Permanent Residency Visa to Australia's Global Talent Independent Program. And his research profile is rated among the world's top 5% of the scientists in the, the ResearchGate, that is a global professional network for scientists and researchers. And Dr. Akram is also currently is a founder and CEO of Academically. And this Academically is an organization which was founded with a single goal in mind. And the goal was to help qualified healthcare professionals across the globe, all health sciences, including pharmacists, medical doctors, dentists, nurses, lab technicians, physiotherapists, and so on, in achieving their passions and dreams by educating and training them to acquire the necessary skills and competencies to register themselves as a registered medical practitioner or healthcare professional worldwide. So without taking much time, I would request Dr. Akram to take over the, the mic and in fact, pass on the information to our NIRF HAJIPUR students, and if the students are from other organization also as well, with regard to the global opportunities which are available for our Indian pharmacists, okay, with regard to USA, Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand. And as far as my, personal knowing is concerned, I know Akram since last 10 years, and I know how much, sweat he has given to this profession, and how he has made himself as a self-made man to reach up to this level. And Akram, so please go ahead and please start your thing, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Samir. So, hi everyone, this is Dr. Akram here. So today I'm going to discuss about the opportunities for you, especially as a register, you can register as a pharmacist, or if you want to planning for the higher studies, for example, PhD, okay? So mostly I will give the examples, but if you have any questions, so please do ask at the end of the webinar, or maybe you can write in the chat if you are online. But if you are offline, if you are listening this, so please do ask the questions, whatever you have. So academically, I basically helping all the healthcare professionals to migrate Australia, New Zealand, or other countries. So in simple aim that there is exam you can write and pass in your home country, and then you can migrate easily in any high income country such as Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada. So academically provide the courses, prepare yourself for the exams, and you can pass the exam and you can migrate to these countries. This is about myself, and I think Dr. Samir already gave a lot of detail about myself. So we will today discuss the two major pathway for you to migrate these countries. For example, the registration. If you want to register yourself as a pharmacist, I know you guys are master degree holder in NIPA, so you might be thinking to just go for the PhD or research, on that pathway, not looking to write these exams. Okay, so I will also discuss, so why you need to write this exam, why it's important to you to register yourself as a healthcare professional in any other country and to find a job. So if we talk about the global opportunities, so there is some exam you need to pass in order to migrate to any of these countries if you want to register as a pharmacist. So for example, anyone Indian citizen is doing MBBS from Russia, China, or any other country. If they want to come back to India and want to practice in India, then they have to write some exam called FMG, right? So same for you, you are a foreigner pharmacist. If you want to practice in New Zealand, Canada, US, or UK, then you need to write some exam. And once you pass the exam, register yourself as a pharmacist, and then you can migrate to that particular country wherever you want. Okay, so here basically I'm discussing the 5 countries. They are the top 5 countries in the world, especially for Indians. They are migrating to these countries. So number one step basically for the document verification, or we can say like skill assessment or data flow in some countries they call. So they will just check your degree. For example, if you did a pharmacy degree from PCI approved pharmacy college in India, it's automatically you will get the verification done basically. Okay, and you must be a registered pharmacist in the home country. So whatever your state, you must register as a pharmacist. Then only you can apply for this process. So skill assessment number 1. Number 2, then you need to write an exam. So for example, if you want to go for the Australia, then you have tried the CAPS exam, is the knowledge assessment of pharmaceutical sciences. And if you want to go for Canada, then you have tried PBC. You want to go for UK, then you have to go for OSPAP, and US for FMG, sorry, FPGA. And then again, you have to do internship. Then you have to write again part 2. For Australia, you try written oral exam, PBC 2 for Canada, UK, GPSC, NAPLEX for US. Okay, and English language is very all the countries require basically this English test. So basically, it is a IELTS, TOEFL, PT, OET you can give. So Australia give a more flexibility as compared to other countries. Whether you did for PT, IELTS, OET, or TOEFL, you can migrate to Australia. But in case if you want to go for Canada, then you have to go for IELTS or TOEFL. For US, generally for TOEFL, okay, and UK for the IELTS. So these are some exams you need to pass. For Australia or New Zealand, you need to pass CAPS exam. Same exam for both countries. Want to practice in Canada, you have to try PBC, OSPA for UK, and US for FPGA and TOEFL. So many of you always ask me this question, I receive always, so which country is better to migrate? Australia, US, UK, or Canada, from basically a pharmacist perspective. So you have to see some factors and you have to analyze where you can practice. The number one factor the registration process is very, very easy in which country. For example, if you want to practice in UK, so in UK, first you need to get admission in the university for OSPEP program. So if you want to go right now, like there is a waiting for 1.5 years or 2 years. So you only can get the admission in 2025. Okay, and once you got admission and go there, then you have to study, then pass the exam, then internship. So a lot of hurdles. It might take around 5 to 7 years to become a pharmacist in UK. But in the other hand, I mean, if you want to go for Australia, maximum 6 months you can complete the whole process and you can migrate to Australia easily. And same for the job opportunities. Australia have a lot of job opportunities as compared to other countries. And easy visa process. So easy process is very, very, in Australia, if you just pass the exam from India, and you can apply your permanent visa and come to Australia. But if you are planning to like other countries, it's difficult to get. So all these 4 factors you have to see basically, like income, weather, quality of life. So in all these factors, the Australia is the best country to migrate Australia in 2023 and 2024. So next 2 years, it is the best country I can say, because they are giving the visa very, very short time. Once you pass the exam, within 4 days, 5 days, 1 week, they are giving the invitation. So we will see in detail about the Australia and New Zealand. So if you want to work as a pharmacist, as a retail pharmacist or hospital pharmacist, you can work. There is no work experience need, and you did your bachelor degree is enough, bachelor of pharmacy, and if you did your master's also is okay. So the first step, as I told, like skill assessment you have to go, then you write CAPS exam, then English test, and then directly you need to apply your visa. But if in case if you want to work in pharmaceutical industry, so industry need at least 2-year working experience after your degree completed, and then you have to, there is no need to write any exam for industrial pharmacists, but the jobs are not that much available. So mostly jobs are available in retail pharmacy or hospital pharmacy as compared to industrial pharmacy. I can say around maybe 90% jobs available in retail pharmacy or hospital pharmacy, and that's of the 10% only the jobs for industrial pharmacists. Same for those are did a diploma in pharmacy, they can migrate as a pharmacy technician. So this is the first step basically. I mean, there are 3 steps I told you. Initial skill assessment, then CAPS exam and English test. These 3 tests you need to pass. And Delhi, we have a center, so you can go there and pass this exam, CAPS and English, and easily you can migrate to Australia. So these steps are the same for Australia and New Zealand. So New Zealand is a very small country as compared to Australia. So opportunities is not much in New Zealand as compared to Australia. So you have to target to migrate to Australia. Okay. So what is the difference in these both countries? So Australia does not require any work experience. So if there is 0 experience after your degree, you can apply, you can migrate to Australia. But if you want to go for New Zealand, you have to go for at least 1 year work experience mandatory. For New Zealand, 1 year work experience mandatory in retail pharmacy or hospital pharmacy. But in case of Australia, no need to have any experience. Another major difference, for New Zealand only gives the 2 attempt. If you not able to pass in your second attempt the exam, then you cannot try 3rd time for New Zealand. But Australia is an unlimited attempt you can take. So the first step basically initial skill assessment. So you have to provide your degrees, certificate, and your transcript, and registration as a pharmacist in a state pharmacy council, and then your passport, national ID like Aadhaar card, birth certificate, and passport size photograph, and you need to pay fees around 1310. So this is an Australian Pharmacy Council. This is like same as we have like Indian Pharmacy Council, right? So this body is responsible to check your credentials, whether your degree is valid or not in Australia. And this body only is going to conduct the exam as well, Australian Pharmacy Council. So So yes, guys, you can see here. So when I came to Australia, this was, I think, my first week, and this is the University of Sydney. So University of Sydney, basically the oldest university in Australia. The first university established in Australia is called University of Sydney. It is 1848. So this is one of the picture I remember. Yeah, okay. So here the second step, the CAPS exam. So CAPS exam you need to write in your home country, and the fees you need to pay 2230. So this is a very, very easy exam. Anyone can pass. And since you are in NIPER, definitely you pass GPAT or and their own exam, right? So I can, if I compare this exam for GPAT, and the other exam. So this exam is very, very easy. First of all, in this exam, there is no negative marking. And the passing marks is the 50%. So they will give you 100 questions, multiple choice 100 questions, and there is a 2-hour time. And then you have to, if you correct 50% questions, and you can pass the exam. Okay. And most likely they will ask you for the 4 domains of questions, like pharmacotherapy and pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical chemistry, pharmacology, and physiology. And after 2 to 3 weeks, you will receive a result, and then you can apply for the visa. So this is one of the news about academically from Pharmaceutal. You might be know. This is one of the famous news portal in India for pharmacists. So they published one news about this. In our last exam, 93% student passed in their first attempt from academically. So skill assessment done, then CAPS exam, and then you have to go for English. So academically, basically, will complete your skill assessment. You just need to provide us your documents. Next step, the CAPS exam. We will provide you the 4-month coaching from Australia online. Whether you have a mobile or a laptop, you can access those classes, and easily you can pass the exam. And then once you pass the CAPS exam, then we will give you the coaching for the English requirements, English test like PT or IELTS, so easily you can pass and can migrate to Australia. And if you are an industrial pharmacist, so if you have a 2-year working experience in pharmaceutical industry, you can apply as an industrial pharmacist pathway. So here also no need to write any exam, but you need to just only English test, skill assessment, then PT exam, EOI, and visa, and then you can migrate. And same for technician, there is no need to have any pharmacy exam, but you just need to pass the English test. So once you complete these 3 steps like skill assessment, CAPS exam you pass, and you pass the English test, then you have a 2 options. One option is that you are in India and find a job in Australia. The company will sponsor your visa, and you can come to Australia and work here on a work visa. Another, the best option for you, you apply your own permanent visa. So if you are married, if you have kids also, you can migrate with them. So these are the 5 visa is available for pharmacists. 491, 190 is a permanent visa, and then work visa 482, 494, and 407. So if you have a 2-year work experience, you will get most likely 482, 494 visa. But if you have a 0 experience, most likely you will get a 407 visa. Okay, in work visa. But 190 and 491 is not required any experience. You can apply. So most of the students always ask me this question, so do we need any sponsorship for this visa? So to answer is no. First 2 visa is a permanent visa, does not require any sponsorship. And last 3 visa, they are a work visa, they only require the sponsorship. Okay. So you can work as an intern pharmacist. Your first job, basically, you have to work as an intern pharmacist for 1 year, and you will get around $30 per hour salary. And on average, if I see that it might be around 3 to 5 lakh Indian rupees per month you can earn, and you have to work 40 hours weekly. Okay, and on average, that time will take around 6 months to 1 year. Here are some of the reviews from our students. So now it's important, so most of you might be thinking to apply to do higher studies like MS or PhD from the foreign countries. So first, step, basically what you have to do first, you have to decide in which country you want to migrate. So you have to decide, for example, you want to go for US. So what is your purpose? You want to come back to India and you want to work in India, or you want to settle there in US, or maybe based on your own profile, like how many publications you have, how many years you have the work experience. So these are the some factors you have to consider when you are deciding a country. And highly recommended, only go for English speaking country like US, UK, Canada, Australia. Okay, don't go like some other country, for example, like Korea, Germany, here and there. Italy. Those countries are not that much. You will definitely not able to find a employment yet. Very difficult. Or most likely you have to come back to home country, back to India, or maybe you have to go some other country for your postdoc. So once you decide the country, for example, you want to work, you want to apply for PhD in Australia, okay? Then you have to go for English test. You have to write one like PT, IELTS or TOEFL, any test you can write. And then most likely they will require 6.5 academic English, okay? And then you have to choose a university. Now, very important to choose a university. If you do not have any experience, so go for a lower or mediocre university. Don't go a top university. For example, University of Sydney. So University of Sydney might be receive a lot of the CVs, high experienced people. So they might not like to your email. But if you are going some low rank universities, low rank means rank in Australia or worldwide, they are much better from India, because they are the world top ranked universities. University of Sydney have around 40 rank in the world overall, and if we see in the medical, 17th rank, and if we see in the pharmacy itself, is like 7th or 8th rank in the world. So you can see their ranking is very, very high. So they choose the student have a high experience. After their master degree, they are doing teaching. They have publications. For example, when I applied, around I have 70 plus publications, or maybe more than that. When I applied for my PhD. Now you can compare. If you are looking to migrate to Australia or these countries. Okay, and then you have to choose a university. University, as I told you, you have to choose based on your certain factors. So if there are so many universities in Australia, without having any experience, if you have just 1 or 2 publications, definitely you can get the admission. So once you choose a university, and then just go for their own page and find a professor of your research interest. For example, you did a particular research in your Master of Pharmacy in MPharm or MS. So you can just write to the email, to a very nice email to the professor, attach your CV, publications, whatever you have. And please don't show your publication if you not publish any credible journals, like at least minimum like PubMed Index journal. Okay, if your any journal is not indexed, maybe so don't show them. Otherwise, it's going to be a negative impact on the professor. And then once you find professor, if you applied for 100 professors, so most likely you will receive some of them, they will get back to you, maybe 8 to 20. Around 10% you will receive a response, 90% they will not respond. Sometimes they are not taking any student, or sometimes they feel your profile is not that much, on that level. But I personally feel there's some of the good professors, definitely they will reply to your email. Okay, and once they reply, and they will say, okay, they will connect to you in the office, please apply your application, and then you can go for online application. So there is a admission also, that 2 type. 100% you will get the admission in PhD. That's not a problem. The problem, if you are applying for a scholarship, if you want a scholarship, then it's very, very competitive. Okay, otherwise without a scholarship, if you have your own scholarship, for example, some country they provide some scholarship. For example, you have a scholarship from Government of India, then you just need contact with a professor. He said, I have my own scholarship. I just want to come for PhD. So it's very, very easy for you to get the admission. But if you are planning to have the scholarship, very, very competitive. I can give you an example. Like University of Sydney, we have around 35 only. 35 a full scholarship only for PhD holders. Rest of the students, they are coming from different countries. They bring their own countries. Some guys I know, 3 or 4 students with me from Saudi Arabia. So the Saudi Arabia government, they send them on the scholarship. And I know one student from Bangladesh. So his Bangladeshi government send him the on a scholarship. Even I know one IITian guy. He was doing PhD with us in the engineering department. So government of India also provides some scholarships. Okay, so but if you want to get a scholarship from Australia or Australian university, to just go with them, and once the professors agree, apply your PhD, and they will ask you in the application itself, they will ask you, you want your scholarship, you want to go for a scholarship, or you have your own scholarship. So you just take that option, and your application will go automatically. So for PhD, there is no such criteria like deadline, this and that, because yearly 4 times you can get the admission in PhD. But for the scholarship, only 2 times they have to conduct the round for the scholarship competition, most likely in the March and July. Or if you have any questions also, you can just talk to the Sadiq, and Amin is here, or maybe you can write the email. Okay. So now I'm happy to take some of your questions. So yes, we can discuss now. Yes, please do ask your question. Yes, Samir sir, any question?
So good morning.
Yeah,
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Good. Yes.
Sir, I'm Sayalam. Sir, I have just joined academically yesterday. Sir, as I was talking to you.
Okay. Thank you. I mean,
Yes, sir.
this is for this is for the NIPER students, so you can talk to me separately, after this conversation. Or if you have any questions, you can ask any particular question or something.
Sir, actually, thing is that sir, I am feeling a little hesitant this time.
Why?
Don't know, sir.
Okay, I mean, guys, you can ask any questions you have. So this is already.
Dr. Akram, one thing, since I know my students, many of them right now, they're about to one complete batch, they're about to complete their MPharm in pharmacy practice, and even from other branches also. And many times, students, they approach us if they want to register for PhD program in Australia.
Yes.
Okay. And what are the opportunities for them? Already I heard the procedure. Okay, so most of our
Actually,
students,
this is the misconception. People think, we can come on PhD, then we can get an academia job. So in India, if you want to work as a professor in any university, any college in India, so you must register as a pharmacist in India. So same applicable in Australia as well. Even if you are coming to PhD and you complete your PhD within 4 years, right? After that, if you want to work as a faculty member in Australia, you need again registration. So registration is very, very important. Since you are in India, you can pass the exam. So the best advice, write the exam and become a pharmacist, come to Australia, and you will get your permanent residency, PR visa. Then you will consider as a local student. For locals, like 100% scholarship. There is no doubt, basically, But since you are overseas, then you have to compete with them.
So I think students, Dr. Akram has made very clear, and in fact, when I worked in Trinidad, okay, the Port of Spain with the University of the West Indies, same criteria stood for me also. Though I joined there as a faculty, but they have given me, within first contract, I have to become a registered pharmacist with the, their country pharmacy board. So I can understand this since, and moreover, when it comes to pharmacy practice, our job is basically practice based. So if you have to become a faculty, first you have to become a registered practitioner, then only you can teach all those subjects. If you go to, the site, you have to become a site preceptor, or as a faculty preceptor, if you have to work, first you should be entitled as per the law of the land. So I think same thing stand here for the Australia also. And one thing again, I will suggest Dr. Akram has mentioned those things very beautifully. First, you enter into the country. First, you apply for a registered pharmacist there, and within 6 months, if you're doing good, if you're submitting your documents, everything on time, you can qualify the exam. Okay, after doing your post graduation, I hope that the exam should not be very tough for you people. And already you are reading all those global standard books, what others across the world people are reading or studying. So once you become registered pharmacist, you will get the permanent residency. Once you enter into the country after becoming registered pharmacist, you have an opportunity to visit all those universities, meeting their professors.
Very, very easy, even if you are working in, if you want to work, if I want to do PhD, so mostly people are doing like here part-time PhD, no one is doing full-time. They are working
in Australia also. Okay.
Yes, in Australia, I'm talking in Australia only. They work full-time as a pharmacist in hospital or retail pharmacy, and simultaneously they will take one day off and come for the PhD work. And pharmacy practice work mostly like a survey-based studies, So this is not like, much you are going for every day for the lab or something, You just need data. You can get a data. For example, if you are working in a hospital, you can do a PhD in the same hospital in the pharmacy practice department.
So I think that opportunity is good, looks good. You can first become a registered pharmacist, take your time to settle down there, get a permanent residency. Then once you get your permanent residency, you are eligible for 100% scholarship, from the Australian government. So most of the time, whenever anybody goes to, migrate to some other country, the most difficult time is with the financial management. How you're going to match with their currency for your daily, day-to-day livelihood. So once you become registered pharmacist, you will be having job in your hand. And if you enroll for your PhD program, then you may get the 100%, the scholarship from the concerned department or concerned university. Then I think automatically those things settle down. And many times I have seen, sometimes, we go with a different dream, but later on when we enter, we see some other opportunity.
Actually, I know a lot of, University of Sydney, we are basically 116 student PhD was doing. 116. In Australia, have only 8 pharmacy college. Even if you complete a PhD, also it's very difficult to find academic jobs here. A lot of competition, So if you want to secure a full-time, headache-free job, just go for PhD. I know 2 of my friends from Dehradun, they are a PhD holder, associate professor there in India, and they write the exam. Now they are a pharmacist here. Both of them, husband and wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so very easy for you to become a pharmacist. And if you want to go for PhD, anytime you can enroll.
So any other questions, students, from, and what about clinical trials and those things, industry jobs, when it comes to like pharmacovigilance, health economics, outcomes related jobs, all these multinationals?
Basically, these jobs basically for like, third world countries, I can say, because in India, whatever companies are doing in clinical trial, they are doing pharmacovigilance. So they are not doing for Indian companies. They are doing for US companies, UK companies, European companies, Australian companies. Because if they hire someone in Australia, they have to pay very high salaries, right? So what they do, they will give for third country like someone in India, like TCS, Wipro. They are doing pharmacovigilance in India. So opportunities is here, but very, very low. So these companies, they give their work in India, and these Indian companies, they are doing the same work for them at a very low cost.
Okay. And one more thing, when it comes to the formulation or, industry-related jobs, molecular work level, what are the job opportunities for our pharmaceutical students or maybe pharmacology people, whether
the main issue basically, Australia, they basically need a pharmacist in a practice side. So Australia have only 2.5 CR, 2.5 crore population in pure Australia.
Okay.
So Delhi ka our population is pure Australia ka, right? So and this is a high income country. So what to do? They are buying from Indian companies. If you can see here, Alchem is working, Cipla is working in Australia, So they buy medicine from India at a cheaper rate. As you know, India is around 150 countries. They are exporting the medicine from India, right? So they are not much manufacturing. For example, GSK only doing here the distribution setup is here. marketing thing they are doing. But their manufacturing side, maybe in India or Malaysia, Thailand, all those countries. So the company also, need to, reduce the cost. So there are not much opportunities basically in industry as well.
So more of is towards retail side. And when it comes to retail side, how much pharmacists get the money on?
Yeah, on
hourly basis? How is the job?
$100,000 per year. So in Indian rupees, like 4 to 5 lakh per month, can say.
And how much daily expense, day-to-day livelihood for a
I
family?
mean, you can say if you are a family member or you are here like 2 kids, for example,
Mhm.
it's a small family. So maybe you can save around 40 to 50% you can save.
40 to 50%. Okay. 100,000 means approximately per month, it would be approximately 9,000, I should say, Australian
Yeah,
dollar.
8, 9,
8 to
10,000.
10.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 to 5,000 it will be going your in daily expenses if you're a
So
small
basically,
family.
there is a tax also there. So if you are getting a salary, maybe the
How much
8,000,
tax is there applicable for income there?
18 to 28%, and tax basically applicable on family. For example, husband wife both are working, so tax to goes will be the high. If only husband is working, wife is not working, so they will charge the low tax because the more family members are dependent on this guy. So 18 to 28% on an average.
Okay. So I think students have few questions. Dipti raised her hand. Dipti, you have any question?
Sir, my doubt is that you have mentioned that part-time PhD is there, right? And you have said
There
that
is
in
no,
hospital.
basically, in Australia, in India, basically, they give it in written uh, distance education or part-time or full-time. In Australia, they never written these words. This is PhD only. Yes,
Okay,
but
sir.
on, back side, basically, you are doing it like you are going for work for one day. So you have to basically make adjustment with your professor. If he's agree, then yes, obviously you can do. And may take
Sir,
around 5 years.
sir, and my doubt is like, what is the minimum year that the PhD will get completed in Australia, sir? Like minimum year we
3.5
can complete
minimum. 3.5 minimum.
3.5. And maximum?
Maximum, there is a no limitation, but mostly up to 8 years.
Thanks, sir.
Sure. And one more thing, is it mandatory for a master scholar to get their what you call the CV with research and review articles for sure, or else is it fine whether they have or not?
You must have some publication. If you are applying for myself, I will ever not open your CV, if you don't have publication. For me, I will receive like 100 CVs every month as a professor. So they will choose those have some publication, whether it is a review or research. Since you are in NIRF, definitely you have to publish some paper, at least 2 to 3 papers from your thesis.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, if
Yes,
we
sir.
apply to the scholarship, how much stipend we could get in the Indian currency for the PhD?
Basically, they give enough whatever living and working. I mean, you can live easily in Australia. Around 35,000 Australian dollars they pay
Sir,
per year.
sir, one more doubt. Sir, if you do from reputed labs internship and if we don't have papers and we have our research experience in labs, then will that work for getting PhD in?
Maybe, but I'm not. Personally, as I'm also one of the supervisor for PhD. So I don't believe on such experiences. I only believe in publication. If you have a very good publication in good journal, I believe on this. Even my professor also only follows this guideline. If you publish in a good journal, it means in first author basically. You is not like you are a third or fifth author. Maybe if you have a high number, but you may like a 50 publication might be out of that 10, 20, you have a first author, rest of them might be second, third author, is okay. But if you have only 2 papers and you are like, 2 or 3 papers, so publication have a more weightage. But yes, if you have some work experience in any lab also, especially the lab-based work, if you are in from like chemistry background or some other background, in that case, definitely they will give the weightage.
Sir, it means that it is based on the supervisor whom we are applying, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank
It's
you, sir.
only basically he will also assess your application. For example, if you are applying under my guidance PhD, I will see if I say yes, whether you will able to secure a scholarship or not. For them also, they only give the recommendation those students based on their CV. Yes, if I give recommendation for this student, he or she will secure the scholarship. If the professor think you are not able to get this not securing a scholarship, he may not give the recommendation. Because a scholarship round, whether you are from engineering PhD, pharmacy PhD, medical PhD, social science PhD, or any other subject, so for them all have to be the same.
Thanks, sir. It is clear, sir, now.
Thank
And
you.
student, it is
But
not only.
you guys can try in a low rank university. I already told you that low rank university you can try. Low rank means this university is still in top 200, 300 in the world ranking. Okay, so in that university definitely you may get the scholarship.
And students, when it comes to the publications, no, let me tell you, all the professors throughout the world, whatever university it is not only about the publication. Your medical writing skills, your paper writing skills matter a lot, because that lecturer or that professor has to hold you, for another between 3 to 5 years at least minimum. Okay, and if you're not productive, if you're doing good research, we can understand whether it's a lab research or it's operational research in the clinical facility. If you're not able to put it into right words, if you're not able to publish your work, that work is of no use. You're getting my point? And even it's not only it's not only your career, even the professor career is also at stake. Assistant professor wants to become associate professor want to become professor. So that all promotions, these publications, patents, research commercialization, all those things matters for your professors also. Okay, so my suggestion is, and moreover, if you see the prerequisite condition to enter or to migrate in any country, they will, at very first step, they will ask you IELTS exam, TOEFL, because they want to make sure the people who are entering into their country, they are well versed in the language. At least they know one language, that is the English. With whom, by using that language, they can communicate with the people, they can communicate with their workplace. Workplace means your labs, your, wherever you are. So they want to see how you're speaking, how you're writing, how much your understanding is there, how your logical skills are there. So all those things matter. Okay, and when you speak about PhD, it is understood that this is the highest degree all over the world. Go to any university, PhD is the highest degree in any profession. So you can well imagine that if you're not having writing skills, it becomes difficult. And moreover, approaching a foreign professor, he doesn't know you, he has not seen your face, you have just submitted your CV, no? And on CV, he wants to see the credentials. Okay, 2 to 3 good publications from your M.Pharm work. It doesn't matter whether it is a review article or a research article, but it should pertain to your research topic. Again, I will say as a first author. Then he will understand, okay, this student has worked on this, particular area. That was her research title or his research title, or now he has done some sort of literature review. On the basis of that literature review, he or she has published some good paper in a PubMed journal with a maybe, average impact factor even it will do, because everybody knows that at very first day, you cannot write it for the Lancet or Nature, everybody understands, okay, you're at the beginning step. So you enter into the research. So if publications are there with average impact factor, but make sure it should be PubMed index, as Dr. Akram said, the minimum, you should not submit your CV should not reflect very, I should say, bad journals or predatory journals, basically.
I mean, like if you have like 10 publication, if you have 2-3 papers without impact factor, without indexing is okay. Not like you have 10 papers on like same journals, similar kind of journals, it give a bad impact.
And moreover, it creates a bad impact basically, and the university may not consider you. Many times when you go for the scholarship also, it is not only the professor who is going to decide. It goes to the committee. 4-5 senior professors will be there. They will be evaluating each and every CV. And it becomes easy for your professor also to make them convince, yes, this is the right candidate whom I want to enroll for the PhD. And already he or she has experience, she has publications, she has done work in my domain. So it becomes easy. And that's why I was saying PhD is something like, first you enter into the country. And after entering into the country, first you ensure your financial component that you can get by becoming a permanent resident. Okay. Become a registered pharmacist so that your daily income, you need not to worry about, for your daily livelihood. At least if you become a registered pharmacist, it means there are no financial constraints. And once within 6 months or 1 year, if you are settled down in that country, then you start looking for different universities, start approaching the professors. And in meantime, whatever M.Pharm work you have done, try to publish paper immediately, at least research paper also now, because by that time you have already completed your research also. So one review, one research, or maybe, at least 2 to 3 papers, approach the professor, tell him that this is my domain, this is my work I have carried out, and search from the Google that whether what work you have done, whether any other professor is working in that domain, meet the professor, convince him, show him your caliber. And once the professor is convinced, automatically he may call you or he may enroll you. And I think this is how it happened with Dr. Akram also, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, you are right.
Because he also did PhD from Australia only,
So you have to just, start if you want. But the best practice, to go for register as a pharmacist and come to Australia. And later on, if you want to go for PhD, you can go. Not just for Australia, even, once you complete PhD, also, then you have to go for you have to find again postdoc. The postdoc is not a full-time job. It is based on a research project only. Sometime 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, based on that project, professor have a money, from the grant. Again, you have to find another job. So very difficult. Most of the Indian students go basically for US to do postdoc, and their salary is very, very low as compared to, it's like, so you cannot save anything, even if you are going for US for postdoc. So most likely that's why they hire a lot of postdocs from India. And they struggle a lot in their own life, like maybe 5 to 10 years to get a proper full-time academic job. I'm talking about after PhD and postdoc.
So students, any other questions from your side?
Sir, we do have a few questions in the chat box, sir. There are 2 questions. Shivani is asking that whether we can apply for the skill assessment with the provisional certificate, as we don't
can
have.
apply.
Yeah. Okay. And another question is from Rajibul Islam. He's saying that is 65 points is enough for fresh graduate to secure 190 and 491 visa?
So visa is given by the government, not given by me. So as of now, 65, maybe you can get 491, not 190. So if you have 75 points, then 190, and below that, 65 or 70, 491. So many students got already.
Akram, what is the difference between these 2 visas? 190.
Yeah, so basically, the difference, government want basically to live in the regional areas. So all our migrants are coming in Sydney and Melbourne only, okay? So they want to go some other countries, some other cities. For example, Adelaide also a city is here, right? Perth also a city is here in Australia. So if you get 190, you can live and work in Sydney also, you can live in Melbourne. But
so this is a higher visa, you can live in their main cities.
Yes.
491 is countryside, means you go somewhere deep down or some deep, okay.
But if you are, but 491 understand is a good visa because you will get a high salary, because locally do not want to work in regional areas. So you will get a high salary and the expenses is very low as compared to main cities.
And when it comes to the Indian population, you will get the good Indian population in those places, 491, where the people are living on those.
Yes, Indian basically everywhere nowadays.
Indians are everywhere, all around.
Yes, Indians are basically on third, largest population in Australia.
Third largest population. Number 1 is Australia. Number 2?
Basically, number 1 is the UK in living in Australia. UK guys.
Okay.
And number 2 is the New Zealand.
Okay.
And number 3 Indian.
Okay.
Earlier it was China. So now India is beat to the China last year.
In Australia. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So student, any other question from your side? Any doubt, anything you can ask. If you are hesitant in English, you can speak in Hindi also. Akram knows Hindi very well. He is from Uttar Pradesh.
Samir and myself have several publications together. Maybe I don't remember how many, maybe 20, 30. We work a lot basically at that time.
Both of us were complimentary to each other at the beginning of career. Yeah.
We maybe have 30 plus, I think, publication.
Together. Initial few years.
Guys, any other questions?
Oh, sir, we have a question in chat box of Sachin. He's asking that he's an average student. Can he take the risk to write the CAPS exam and work in Australia?
Basically, no risk, no gain. So if you are not taking a risk, so you cannot get any job in abroad. So any average student, even if you can pass a pharmacy degree in India, definitely you can pass this exam. This exam is not like, you're not going for IAS exam or IIT exam or something. And you guys already in NIRF, so already you pass basically, you don't know, more tough exam as compared to CAPS exam is very, very easy. They will give you 100 questions and you just need to correct 50 only, you know, and there is no negative marking. तो सारे के सारे क्वेश्चन को अटेंड करना है आपको और इससे इजी कोई एग्जाम नहीं है. If I compare this exam like Canada PBC, so Canada is very, very tough exam. The passing marks there 60%, and only 20% student pass in that exam. But for in our academy in last batch, 93% student pass in their first attempt. So you can see it's very, very easy exam, this exam. And please, there is a form we give in the feedback form in the chat box. So if you can fill, and if you have any questions, so you can ask in our team and they will contact you later on.
I think if there are no further questions, we will close this session here.
Yeah.
So closing this session, I would like to thank Dr. Akram Ahmad for sparing his invaluable time. I understand he is busy in a job also. And I know right now he's in the mid of the day. It's almost around 3 or 3:30 there in Australia. And sparing time from his job, coming from for our NIRF students. I'm really thankful, Dr. Akram, and I'm sure if any student, if they need any further guidance, I will give your contact number or your contact information to my students. And I'm sure if you can guide them, and if any one of them is really interested in going to Australia, at least because I know you're located there. I'm not speaking about other countries at this point, but I'm sure if our students, they approach you, you're going to guide them, you're going to take them along and make them peacefully settle there. Okay, professionally as well as personally also. You know, many times when you enter into a new country, many things you face, I can understand that. And I'm sure you will take them along. Okay, so with this, I'm again thankful to you. Okay, thank you so much for being here at NIRF platform. Though today our dean and director, the director has come from NIRF Kolkata, you know, we have an additional charge here. So dean was busy with him. So other people are also engaged in regular sessions and other things. But I'm sure our students are there from other departments. I could see many of them. Okay, who are interested.
Okay.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. So
please fill the form in the chat box so you can ask. The team will connect to you later on also if you have any questions.
Thank you, Saeed, for organizing the things for me and Akram, both of us.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for conducting this.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, students. You can continue with your things. Okay. Thank you.